Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Akshat Bahety, and in today's video we are going to actually look at SigmaMind AI and a very popular use case, which is to utilize AI for appointment booking and how we can utilize that in literally in a single prompt. So let's get into it, and I'm going to explain you about the platform also as we go through and just show you how easy it is to build this particular use case, and also how you can integrate n8n and a couple of other tools with SigmaMind very quickly. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing is obviously please log in. I have already logged in, and this is where you will end up in the dashboard. Now you see a couple of options happening here where we have the agents, we have tools, and everything else that is there. Again, I'm going to start with our AI agent where we achieve the following things. So first, it will be able to check out the availability of our calendar, which should be like, again, around what appointment slots are available. Second, it should be able to book an appointment. And finally, also send these details to Google Sheet and n8n. Okay, to get started with that, we're going to click on Create AI Agent. Again, you have a couple of options to get started, but we're going to choose New Single Prompt AI Agent, which technically means that in a single prompt that we will have a whole AI agent which can do all the activities of finding appointments, booking appointments, and then updating a Google Sheet also. So again, the starting point here is obviously going to be pretty enhanced prompt, and let me just move myself so you guys can see this more clearly. Again, the one thing that we are going to do here is again, make sure the prompt is super solid. And again, the prompt and all the details with this will be available in the description, so you guys can go ahead and take that up as it is. What we're going to utilize here is a persona prompt with different steps. So let's get started with that. The first thing I'm going to write is, you are a personal assistant that helps doctors in booking appointments. Another thing that we're going to mention here is going to be the tone. The tone has to be warm and friendly, and always reply very politely to everyone. Now, after this, we are going to start explaining the steps. And for that, to get started, I'm just going to say, make sure to wait for the user's response before proceeding with any step. We can start by saying, start by greeting the customer politely and don't mention anything else about appointment booking until the customer initiates the same. Because this is very clear, right? Again, we are going to tell the agent that we want you to politely just tell the customer that, hey, again, welcome to talking to me. And then now this step is pretty clear. Another step now is going to be actually about understanding and booking the appointment. Now, before we get into that, the one thing that we need to do is we also need to integrate cal.com. So I'm going to write the step and then move to integrating cal.com together. So again, in step 2, which is going to be again, about offering appointment slots, I'm just going to write, if the customer asks for appointment booking, follow the following steps. Okay, so first we're going to actually ask the customer for appointment slots, and we're going to offer them some options, right? So again, you might have availability on a particular day and not on another day. So if the customer asks for a booking appointment, here we are going to follow the following steps. Now, to understand the steps, we obviously need to integrate cal.com first. So I'm going to come here. This is automatically saved. That's one of the coolest things here. And we can just go back and actually start integrating cal.com. If you don't know what cal.com is, let me just quickly show you. Cal.com is a better way to schedule meetings, or technically it's a calendar app where you can host your calendar and people can book appointment slots with you. Here is an example of how these slots look like. So this is an example of my own calendar where you can go ahead and select an appointment and book info details here, where you can select a slot and input your details and then book an appointment with me. Now, another option that cal.com offers is to utilize their API. So what we can do is go to their documentation and actually use their APIs to automatically book calendar appointments using our agent. The first thing we need to do here is actually get availability of the appointments. I already have the particular option that we want to use, which is get available time slots. Now here, technically, we want to ask which particular API to use. So I'm just going to ask it saying, tell me which API to use to get available slots. That's the first thing, right? Because the first thing that we need to do is check out availability, right? We need to check out if the day actually has appointments available or not. If it does not available, then we need to tell the customer that. So the first thing is we need to figure out which particular API to use to get available options. So here you get it, we need to use the get V2 slots option. I can search for that and take you there. So let's see, I already have this open where we can utilize get available time slots for any given time. Now, if you have not used APIs before, please don't worry, just hold on and I'm going to explain you how to actually use this. Only thing you need to do is from the top, just scroll below and you will see this try it option, and that's all you need. When you get to this try it option, we are literally going to copy this whole thing. So copy this particular place and bring it to another tool called Postman. And the reason we are using Postman is it makes it super simple to just test the APIs and actually integrate them. So I already have my Postman logged in here. All you need to do is create a new request and paste what we just copied. I just came here and pasted the same and it gets converted like this. So if you'll see here, it's asking for an API version and also the bearer token. Now, where do you actually find this bearer token? It is technically a way for the API to tell, yes, we authorize that this is Akshat's calendar, and Akshat is the only person who's actually trying to access it. To actually get the calendar, you need to come to cal.com and create an account. And if you don't have an account, you can just create one very quickly. It's free. And then you will come here, click on settings and come to API keys. Once you come to API keys, just click on and you're going to select, like, again, very simply, this is going to be a random placeholder. So I'm just going to say test Sigma. We can make this key to expire in 30 days, 3 months or 1 year. I'm just going to keep it 30 days and click on save. And we are going to copy this key. Now make sure that you keep this key copied and someplace safe, because you will not be able to see this later. You can 110% create more keys, but we're just going to copy this for now. Once we are on this key, we're going to come here and very simply copy, paste the key here. So you see, this is exactly how you need to copy and paste your key. Once that is done, let's come back to SigmaMind and start integrating cal.com with our platform. So when you come here to Sigma, you're going to select on the option tools. So if you see here, you have the tools option on the left hand side. Now once you come to tool, the first thing you are going to do is add an app name. We're just going to see cal.com. It's a calendar app, and we're going to click on submit tool and app. As you can see, I already have an cal.com action created, but I'm just going to configure this one with you together. So the first thing we need to do is configure authentication. For this, we're going to select bearer, and that's why you see this bearer option here. So we need to select the same. So we need to select the same and click on bearer token. And here we're going to paste the same token that we just copied. Okay. So click on submit authentication, and then it will automatically check if it is working. Now, once our authentication is live, the first thing we want to select is add an action, because right now we have given it access to cal.com, but we have not given it what do we want it to actually do. So for that, I'm going to click on add an action, and the first action is going to be get available time slots. That's the first action, obviously, right? We want it to get available time slots. Now here we need to copy the endpoint URL. Very simply, we can come back to Postman, and I'm going to quickly show you guys this side by side so you can see this. Just copy this slots and paste them here. Then we need to add headers, which is just going to be one header. It's going to be cal API version. Copy this, paste it here, this, and paste it here. The reason we are not adding authorization, because of the step that we did, and because we have already added it in a single place, we don't need to keep adding authorization and the token again. Now, for this particular thing, we still need to add one more parameter. What is a parameter is very simply again, we need to tell it in between what dates do I actually want you to find this. So now someone might come to the agent and say that I want an appointment on 10th of January, I want an appointment on 10th of February or something like that. So for that, we are just going to select add a parameter, and we need to give a start date. Now, if you get it, I can't define a start date right here, because if I do that, very simple, users will keep getting the same response all the time, like it's 6th of January or 7th of January. So we're going to use a variable here, which is going to be current UTC time. This variable is present within SigmaMind as a system parameter, which technically means that it can utilize this particular parameter as the system, which is the current time that is available, and it can also modify it as required. Another parameter that I want to add, and this is not again, something that I want the users to control, because I don't want them to book an appointment like 10 months in the future, because a doctor's appointment is technically something you can probably predict that it's going to be within when you are either sick or you have a regular appointment, maybe in a couple of months. Just to be on the safe, I'm going to put 12th of December, 31st. So I only want them to book appointments within this year. And the reason I'm defining this is because I don't want to have an appointment which is in next year or something like that. If my calendar is available, I still want to keep control of my own calendar. With that, you're pretty much done, right? So now we are technically going to also test the API. So I'm going to click here to test it, and I can enter the current date, which is going to be 2026 of Jan. So it's going to be 5th of Jan, 05, and let's see what comes out. As you can see, we are getting an error because I missed one particular thing, which is going to be getting an event ID. So as you can see, I have multiple events here. I'm going to click on this particular event, and on the top, you will see that there is a URL. In this, we have this event ID, and you should copy it from here. We're going to copy this and very simply bring back to SigmaMind, come here, click on edit, that also has a parameter. So this particular parameter, and if I go back to the docs, is actually called event ID. So if you can see, it's particularly called event type ID, which is visible here. We're going to copy this, paste it here, and submit action. So in case you get an error, don't worry. Like again, it's just like, again, it's part of the building process. So we're going to put in 2026, 01 and 05. Let's see. It should be working now easily. And as you can see, we got multiple time slots. Pretty well done. Awesome. So we technically, our first option done. We have this completely ready. Now the second option is to actually give it a power to book. Now to do that, we again have to go back to cal.com again and search for a booking appointment. I've already figured out which API to use, which is create a booking, which is literally the simplest API that exists right now. So we're going to use a create a booking API. Now in this particular place, right, again, you also see there are specific parameters that we actually need. So the option that are required, everything else. I'm also going to utilize Postman for this. So we are just going to copy and paste the curl request and see what do we actually need to come here. So I'm going to copy this, bring it back to Postman. And again, all of that automatically becomes part of headers and the body. Now, as you can see, the body is pretty big, but if you go through the whole documentation, you will see the only parts that are required is the attendee option and the start time. That's pretty much it. So to utilize the same, you're going to come back here, right, and get rid of everything else. So I'm going to literally remove everything else. We are just going to keep the start time and the attendee option. And here technically we don't even want phone number. So I'm going to reduce that and just keep it to this. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to actually create a booking. As you can see, the start time right now is from 2024. The reason behind that is because we are just copying data, right? And we will soon be able to actually utilize something else. Okay, perfect. So now is the time to get started and actually just copy and paste stuff so we can add this there. Let me just bring this here. Perfect. You can see this. I'm going to expand this so you guys can see this properly. I'm going to click on add an action and we need to just repeat the steps that we already did. So I'm going to start by saying very simply booking a calendar, and then the endpoint URL is going to be this. And one caveat that we need to make sure is we need to make sure this is also post, because we're sending data and not just getting data. So we're going to select post here. And then again, as you can see, like, again, it has pre-populated this, but let's check if we actually have this correct. So we are going to go to headers, application JSON. I'm going to still copy and paste this, and then 2014 and 813. This is right, the API version. After this, the one thing that we need to change actually is to move from JSON body to raw. So we're going to move to raw, and in this raw we can exactly copy and paste this here. Now ensure that, like, again, you remove the double quotes that are present there. So we'll remove that and we'll put this here. We need to make a couple of changes here. Let's start with the top. This time needs to be defined automatically. So this needs to be done by actually AI. So I'm just going to mention start time here. Then name, again, this needs to be a variable. It can't always be John Doe. So we are going to put the name to be name, and same for email also. Let me quickly do that. This just tells AI that you need to populate this based on the information given by the user and our instructions. This can't be by default whatever exists. With that, I'm going to change the time zone from America, New York to Asia, Kolkata. That's the default time zone that is used for technically all Indian style bookings, which is like in Indian time zone. So once all of that is done, you can just click on submit action. It will take a second to create the action. So let's see. Perfect. And we are good. With that, let's actually go back to the agent and start adding this action so that it can use it to book the calendar. Okay, so let's start writing the prompt. Now, it's pretty simple for us to write this because very simply we need to start with use current date and time. This is the same parameter we actually needed to use for the getting the current date to determine the valid availability, right? And the second option is very simply, we need to tell it that don't offer the whole calendar because you will get a lot of slots. So suggest only first 3 appointment slots available in the day. Then if we will very simply say that in case the customer asks for more information for another day, ensure to provide 3 slots for that specific day. Okay, now this takes care of offering the information, but now also we need to collect that information and bring that back. But before we do that, actually let's add a tool call. So I'm going to click on tool call, select on app action. I'm going to select the cal.com option, and then we're going to select get time slots. And as you can see here, we have the option to enter a dynamic variable, which we're going to do that. So we're going to say current date time UTC. And please make sure that the spelling is correct because you will actually need this. Now, because we have added that, that is technically what we need to get the time slots, and we have given this particular agent access to our cal.com, all the things that we created right here. Now the next step is pretty simple. We're going to give a booking confirmation. So, and the reason that I'm writing this in this particular format is because very simply you have a particular workflow that we want it to follow properly. So we're going to say if the customer confirms that they want to book an appointment, do the following, right? And this is pretty simple, right? Politely confirm the selected date, the time and date, and then the second option that we need is, okay, so let's say the user has confirmed it. Now we also need to extract that particular information. And for that, we need to use another function that is available. So we're going to say extract the following details using the extract variable function. And in that, I'm going to show this to you. So it's going to be extract variables here. In this, I'm going to define particular variables that we want to utilize, because if you remember, we also need to create a booking. And the reason that we need to create the booking is important because we need to send all of this information in that JSON. So we come back here and give it booking date, and I'm going to say this is the date and time booking. Then we're going to click on add variable, and I'm going to add the name of the caller. We're going to add another variable which is going to be email of the caller in a prop email ID format. Should look like username, add domain name, click on submit. Now, because we have given all of this information, you can see extract variable is also available to the agent. Now, very simply, I'm going to explain this here again. Then we're going to have full name and then also the email address. So very simply, the email address is going to be email. Now we are going to tell it step 3, use the book an appointment option to complete the booking with the above extracted details. And we're going to add now, if you're going to again add tool calls, you're going to click on app action, select the app, which is going to cal.com, and click create a booking. And as you can see in this, we just need to add the name, time, email. Now this name, time, and email is going to be the same variables that we have asked it to extract. So name, time is going to be booking date as we have explained in the prompt, and the email address is going to be email, non-submit. Now we're going to just simply say with the above information, the last step that is required is to confirm the booking. So once the message is actually done, I'm just writing booking confirmation message. Once the appointment is successfully booked, do the following: inform the customer, do not repeat their details, and keep the confirmation friendly and concise. With that, we technically have everything that we need to actually start testing this. So given that this is automatically saved, we're going to go back and select and test this particular agent. I'm going to click on start the call and let's see.
Hi, please let me know how I can help you today.
Please help me book an appointment for 7th of January.
Absolutely, I can help with that. Here are the first 3 available slots on Wednesday, 7th of January 2026, 12:00 a.m., 12:25 a.m., 10:00 p.m. Would you like me to book one of these? If so, please tell me which time works best.
Please book me the 10 p.m. slot.
Just to confirm, you'd like to book Wednesday, 7th January 2026 at 10:00 p.m. I'll proceed with that.
Yes, I wanted to proceed with that.
Got it. Before I lock this in, I just need a couple of details. Your full name, your email address. I have the time as Wednesday, 7th January 2026 at 10:00 p.m. Please confirm those details and I'll finalize the booking.
My name is John and the email is john@gmail.com.
Yes, you're all set. Your appointment is on Wednesday, 7th January 2026 at 10:00 p.m. If anything changes or you need help with anything else, just let me know.
So quickly, let's walk through what happened here, and I'm just going to let me bring you to cal.com to show you actually on how the appointment has been acting up there. You guys can see they actually booked the appointment. We had a quick meeting between Akshat Bahety and John, and everything else is here. We'll also go back to SigmaMind and just quickly see our conversations. So I can quickly walk you guys through, perfect. So you can see the whole conversation here. Let me walk you through the logs. So if you guys see here very simply, again, you can see all the options that I've done, every action that it actually performed as an agent, and you can see the final value here, where it has, again, got the information, extracted it, and finally created an actual booking available here. So that's pretty cool, and I'm super happy to see this. Let's move on to the next step where we actually try to connect n8n with our agent, which can send out all the information that we have collected right now n8n. So the last step that we need to do is click on add custom tool, which is going to enter Google Sheets and very simply come here, submit tool and app. I'm going to come here, click on add action, and here we're going to configure all of this. Now before we do that, let's come to first thing that we want to do is click on add the first step, and here we're going to click on Webhook and starts the Webhook very simply, and we're going to switch this from test to production. But in a second, the one thing that I want to change is from a get method, we are going to make it a post method, because we are actually going to get information, and the response that needs to be sent is when the last node finishes, and I don't need to send any node response body. Perfect. So we are going to connect this with a quick Google Sheet. So we're going to search for Google Sheet, and we're going to say append a row in a sheet. So I've already created a demo Google Sheet, which is going to be this. We're going to enter the name, email, and the time of the people. So I'm going to select demo sheet. From list, I'm going to select booking details, and here I need to enter these particular information, and we're going to get that all from the webhook. Now the way it will come is in a second. I'm just going to show this to you as a test. So we're going to click on test event, right? And I'm going to copy this webhook and come back to my favorite place, which is again Postman. In Postman, it's going to be pretty simple. We're going to select post, paste this in, and then we're going to say name, let's say, is equal to, and date is equal to today, or we are just going to say 2026 105, and very simply the email is going to be added here also, and we're going to say akshat@test.com. This is not a real email, please don't try to email on that. Awesome. As you can see, we got a proper response. We have sent the details, and you can see we got all the information here. Let me just move myself so you guys can see this clearly. We have all the information available here. Only thing that we need to do is take all this information and plug it in. That is going to take a second. So I'm going to take the name, the date here, and I'm going to change the date from there to the next part on actual timing, and the email. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to do this, and if I execute this step, see in this particular sheet we get the information right here. Perfect. So the only thing that we need to do is technically just rename this workflow SigmaMind connector. I'm going to copy this URL. We can actually need this as a production URL, because when you're actually running this, you want this to be production. So we have copied the production URL, and we're going to come here and say send details to sheet, and here we're going to select post. We're going to enter the endpoint URL. We're going to add parameters. Now parameters, very simply, it's going to be, we'll start with name, and here I'm going to say name. We can add another parameter, it's going to be date, and here we can make the variable to be booking date. Another parameter that I'm going to quickly add is going to be email, and I'm just going to use the same variable name also. So again, just a quick reminder, if you're putting it in double curly braces, it knows that it's a variable that needs to be utilized while the agent is running. Okay, so with that, we have everything ready. One thing that I'm going to change is this is to raw, or like again, this is going to be blank, so we can just keep it there. And I'm going to click on submit action. And you can see we have the URL and we have the details here. We're going to quickly test this so we know it's working. I'm just going to put 2026 0106 test quickly this API action. So authentication details are not found. We actually don't need any authentication details for this. I've kept this to none. Let's see what are we getting here. Did we have any authentication? Nope, there is no authentication existing here. And okay, I missed this step. I'm going to configure this to no auth. Even if there is no authentication, you need to configure that. Obvious. And then we test it, and we test it again. As you can see, we got proper action, and here we have the details. With that, the last step that is left is very simply connect this to the AI agent. Come back here, and it's pretty simple. We're just going to select an app action and connect this particular value there also. I'm going to add tool calls, select app action, select the app. We're going to select Google Sheet, test, and send details to the sheet. And here we're going to again make sure the dynamic variables are filled properly. And we're going to add again name, and then we're going to say email and click on submit. Then we're going to add the final option in this particular row. Ensure to use send details to sheet tool to finally send all the information. Don't or reply this to the user, and that's it. And with this, it will be actually able to send all of the things. Now quickly, I'm going to walk you through on the side. You can choose GPT-4 mini or GPT-5 or GPT-5 mini. I think GPT-5 mini is pretty good with this again, and you can also change dynamic variables here or call settings if you require to. I have not done that. I just kept please let me know how I can help you today as the dynamic welcome message, and that's pretty much it. To take the agent live, click on live, and the agent will be able to go live with the same thing. I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, with that, I would just like to say this video is actually sponsored by SigmaMind AI. So thanks for them to supporting the channel. It's a pretty cool tool which allows you to run AI campaigns across multiple different options. So go ahead and do check them out. If you want to check out a complete tutorial about learning about SigmaMind AI, it will be available right here. So if you just sign up right now, you'll get $10 worth of credits to actually use within the platform, and you can use the link in the description to actually sign up. And if you want to keep learning about AI, hit that subscribe button, and I would love to see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye.